All right, Photoshop 1. This is a fun, quick in-class tutorial about applying a generative filter, if you will, to an entire image. It's a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, so I went ahead and put the directions in the chat for you. So let's just do this the way we would logically do it. We would hit Command A to select everything. We would come down into generative fill. And let's say we want to do an oil painting look, right? Oil painting. And we hit generate. What the software is doing is accessing and thinking about all of the oil paintings out there in the world. It's not applying them to our image. Reason being, when we come back and we hit select all and generative fill oil painting, check out what it does in the layers. It automatically opens up a new layer, and in this layer, there's no actual pixels in it. So what we need to do is apply pixels to it, but we can do so in a very controlled method. All right, so what we're going to do is enter quick mask mode. We have been working in masking since week 2. However, quick mask mode is a little bit different. The hotkey for it is simply Q, and then you're going to set a foreground color to a gray. All right, the more gray that you select, the more the generative fill will apply to the actual image. So I'm going to start this one as like just a total mid gray, and I'm going to make sure my cursor is about halfway off so that I'm really in a 0 saturation. I can always come over here too and put saturation to 0. We all know that this is RGB and CMYK, and up here are lab colors, but sometimes we don't know HSB is hue, saturation, and brightness. So brightness we could set to exactly 50, right? We want hue at 0, no color added, and saturation at 0, no color added. So as we open this up, we have our foreground. Basically, we are selecting about 50%. So in order to apply this, we need to hit Option Delete on a Mac or Alt Delete on a PC. So check out what happens. And you can tell we are in quick mask mode because my layer has turned to red. So I'm going to hit Option Delete. Oh, now it is applied about a 50% fill to the image. I'm going to hit Q again to exit quick mask mode. Now, when we do this oil painting, it will actually apply to the image. And we will get 3 pictures or 3 options that are based on the image. Now, I did this earlier today and came up with this result, which I was really happy with, and this one as well, which I'm a little bit less happy. But it just goes to show that this one was done at 50%. This one was done at 50%, and I did this one at 75. So about 3/4 of the way down on the color scale, or I guess the tonal scale. So it applied it more to the image. All right, any questions about that? All right, let's try it one more time on an example that I haven't tried it with before. And let's experiment with, instead of 0, 25, 50, 75%, let's experiment with like 33% and 67%. So we can really see a good difference in it. First off, I'm going to hit Command J, turn off my background copy. I would really like to go ahead and hit sky replacement on this one, and just not thrilled with the sky that's there. So let's take our fade edge down, our brightness up. Let's scale it a little bit and cool it down quite a bit. We're going to output that to new layers, and we're going to come over here with our brush, which is teeny tiny right now. and get rid of a little bit of that artifact fringe. Went too far. Here we go. And get a nice big brush. Bring back some saturation here. I think that's important for this image. So what I'm going to also do, because I'm really pleased with the sky replacement, I'm going to merge these layers. When you do this process, you really want to make sure that if you want the effect applied to everything, that you merge the layers. So again, let's run through it. Quick mask mode. Let's pick our gray at 67%. Say okay. Option delete. That's the part you're going to forget. See how much lighter it is than the other option at 50%. We're going to exit quick mask mode. And let's do, instead of oil painting, let's do a watercolor painting and see what generative fill has for us today. All right. Well, I think this one is probably the closest. Let's turn it off and do it all again. So we're going to enter quick mask mode, change our gray to 33%. So it's going to apply a lot more. Option delete, quick mask mode, and watercolor. Ooh, the first one's actually pretty nice. So we can see the more percentage of fill we give it, the closer it will give us to applying an effect that is more likely what we're looking for. So play around with these different numbers and really try to experiment with different images. And always remember, these generative fills are not a product of your own creation. So if I were going to use this in something, I would probably select and mask out the background and get into maybe some pattern creation or change it in some way. The general rule is to change an image by about 70%. Great ways to do that is either to blow it up really big and use it as a background, a texture, or shrink it down pretty small and use it for pattern creation or other background kind of images.